Frumess talks about Halloween, Halloween, Halloween. Let's all talk about Halloween, Silver Shamrock.
Oh man, No One Will Save You. This is streaming on Hulu, and I cannot recommend this enough. Along with The Angry Black Girl and Her Monster streaming on Shudder, this movie and that movie are my two number one picks for this week. For 31 Days of Halloween, you gotta see this movie. I gotta tell you, man, I am so weird about my aliens. Well, let me just read what I wrote here. I said my tippy top 31 Days of Halloween recommendation at this moment. This exceeded every single expectation I had for it. It left me speechless, just like the movie itself, where only a handful of words are spoken in the entire 90-ish minute runtime. Let me tell you something. It is really hard to make a movie. It is really hard to make a movie with good dialogue. It's even harder to make a movie where there's no dialogue and you are keeping people entertained and entranced with the action on screen. We are presented with masterful visual storytelling that could be shown all over the world to 100 different people who spoke 100 different languages, and they would all be able to tell you what is happening. In the great words of Elric Kane himself, it was, quote unquote, pure cinema. The story is very simple. Girl lives in a house and aliens are after. They are, the gray men styled aliens. This is what I said here. I am very particular about alien invasion, gray man type stuff. Gray men are the type of aliens with the oval heads. Sometimes they're tall. Sometimes they're short. They're always skinny and their skin is gray. I don't find them scary. I don't find them threatening, but they made them very scary and very threatening in No One Will Save You. Which has a double meaning that I will not explain. You just have to watch it and see. I don't want to spoil this at all. It can be very, the thing about gray men stuff as well is that, gray man aliens can be very generic most of the time without a true sense of danger or threat. But No One Will Save You manages to take something we've seen before in the classic Twilight Zone episode and crank up the dial to 11. It was that comparison that eventually sold me on watching it, and I'm glad I did. So what am I referring to? There's a classic episode of Twilight Zone. There's not a word of dialogue is spoken. I have to imagine that this was inspired, that this was inspired in part by that episode. It is a really, really great episode, and it's this woman who's being stalked by little teeny tiny alien robot creatures. And No One Will Save You has a few surprises. It's got a little bit of an Invasion of the Body Snatchers vibe that really helped. The story was a great excuse to weave some exposition. Do you know how hard it is to translate, to communicate exposition when you can't just have your characters use dialogue? And the thing is, you could say that using dialogue is lazy to deliver exposition, but you could also say that it is really challenging because to make it sound good, to make it sound tasteful is difficult. It can be very, very, very difficult. In any case, everybody go check out No One Will Save You. It will keep you on the edge of your seat. I was just enmeshed the entire time. It did not let up for me, and I was glad. I was so glad. I gave No One Will Save You 5 stars.